The greatest trick of the devil is not fear. It is planting doubt in your heart. Doubt. It looks harmless at first, just a whisper, a thought, a small shadow on your faith. But doubt is the devil's favorite weapon because it doesn't attack from the outside. It seeps in quietly from within. Fear can be seen. Anger can be felt. But doubt disguises itself as logic, as caution, as realism. It says, maybe this won't work. Maybe you're not ready. Maybe God forgot you. And once you believe that lie, the seed is planted and the harvest is paralysis. Napoleon Hill wrote in Outwitting the Devil that the enemy's greatest power is in the minds of those who hesitate. Doubt makes you drift. It makes you postpone. It makes you quit one step before victory. Hill said, doubt, fear, and indecision are the three demons that destroy dreams before they are born. The devil doesn't need to destroy your vision. He just needs to make you question it. He doesn't have to break your faith. He just needs to crack it. Because a cracked foundation eventually collapses under pressure. Look at Scripture. Eve did not fall because she wanted evil. She fell because she doubted. The serpent said, "Did God really say?" Doubt entered, and the connection broke. Peter did not sink because the storm was strong. He sank because doubt entered his faith. The moment he took his eyes off Jesus and looked at the waves, the miracle stopped. Thomas could not believe until he touched the wounds. His doubt made him miss the revelation right in front of him. That's the trick. Doubt disguises itself as wisdom, as rationality, as just being realistic. But what it really does is disconnect you from divine power. Because faith connects you to infinite intelligence, and doubt disconnects you from it. Faith opens the channel, doubt clogs it. Faith builds, doubt destroys. But the enemy knows something most people forget. Doubt spreads. Like a virus, it infects your thoughts, your words, your decisions. One doubtful idea can poison an entire dream. That's why Hill said, the devil occupies the minds of idle thinkers. When your mind is unguarded, doubt enters. So how do you defeat it? How do you silence the voice that says, what if it doesn't work? First, recognize its disguise. Doubt often wears the mask of logic. But logic without faith leads to limitation. Notice when you're analyzing so much that you stop acting. Second, replace it instantly. When doubt says, you can't, answer, I can do all things through the power that strengthens me. When doubt says, what if you fail? Answer, what if I fly? Third, act in spite of it. Doubt loses power when you move. The devil's trick only works on those who hesitate. Every step forward is a punch to his deception. Fourth, protect your mind daily. Feed it with truth, not fear. Read words that build faith. Listen to voices that strengthen purpose. You can't stop birds from flying over your head, but you can stop them from building nests in your mind. Say this with me. I reject doubt. I choose faith. I walk in clarity. I trust divine timing. My vision will not die in hesitation. Metaphors make this clear. Doubt is rust, silent, slow, invisible but destructive. It eats away at the metal of your conviction until nothing strong remains. Doubt is fog. It doesn't change the destination, it just blocks your sight. The road is still there. You just need to keep driving until the fog lifts. Doubt is a parasite. It cannot create. It only feeds on your energy. Look at history. Every genius, every visionary, every leader faced doubt, internal and external. Edison was told his inventions were foolish. Wright brothers were mocked. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison surrounded by doubt, yet his faith in freedom never broke. They all heard the whispers. It's too late. It's too hard. You're not enough. But they chose faith over doubt. And here's the truth. Doubt doesn't disappear when you succeed. It evolves. The devil adapts his whispers. When you grow, he says, you're an imposter. When you achieve, he says, you'll lose it. When you inspire others, he says, you're not living it perfectly. That's why faith is not a one-time event. It's a daily discipline. Faith is a muscle. Doubt is resistance. The more you push through doubt, the stronger faith grows. So here's a 40-day anti-doubt protocol to train your spiritual strength. Days 1 to 10. Write down every recurring doubt you hear. Next to each one, write a truth that replaces it. Days 11 to 20. Speak those truths aloud every morning and night. Days 21 to 30. Act on one thing your doubt told you not to do. Days 31 to 40. Surround yourself with voices of faith, books, videos, people. Feed your fire daily. By day 40, you will notice your mind shifting. Doubt will still whisper, but it will no longer control you. Think of Jesus in the wilderness. The devil came not with swords, but with suggestions. If you are the Son of God, doubt disguised as temptation. But Jesus answered every lie with truth. You defeat doubt the same way, by speaking faith, by knowing who you are, by refusing to negotiate with deception. Say this again. I'm not what my doubts say I am. I am what my Creator says I am. I am strong, capable, guided, and unstoppable. My destiny is certain. My faith is unshakable. Doubt destroys silently, but faith restores instantly. Doubt delays miracles, but faith releases them. Doubt kills dreams, but faith resurrects them. Even modern science agrees. Belief shapes outcome. The placebo effect proves that expectation changes biology. Your mind literally alters matter. That's faith in action. Doubt reverses that process. It shuts down creation before it begins. If this message is waking something inside you, don't let it fade. Subscribe to Napoleon Inspires right now. Every day, you'll receive principles of faith, persistence, and divine power. Daily encouragement to silence doubt. Daily wisdom to replace fear with confidence. Daily fire to keep your vision alive. This is not just a channel. It's your spiritual armory against doubt, your training ground for faith, your movement toward destiny. Because the devil's greatest trick isn't to make you sin. It's to make you stop believing. He doesn't steal your dream. He convinces you to give it up yourself. But today you break that pattern. You will no longer listen to the whispers of limitation. You will no longer confuse caution with wisdom. You will no longer wait for perfect certainty before acting. Because faith doesn't wait for evidence. It creates it. Now close your eyes and say this one more time with conviction. I'm guided by infinite intelligence. I am protected by divine power. I walk by faith, not by sight. I will not be deceived by doubt. My destiny is secure. Because the devil's greatest trick has been exposed. And once you see the trick, it can never control you again. Doubt is not loud, it's quiet. It doesn't roar like a lion. It whispers like a shadow. It doesn't attack your body. It infects your belief. It walks beside you, pretending to be reason, disguising itself as caution, patience, or maturity. But its real name is paralysis. Job faced it when his world collapsed. His friends said, "Curse God and die." Doubt entered through loss and silence. But Job refused. Though he slay me, yet will I trust him. That is the weapon of victory. Faith that lives even when evidence dies. Moses doubted when called to lead. He said, "I am not eloquent." Gideon doubted his strength, asking for signs. Yet both became instruments of destiny when they silenced doubt and obeyed faith. Every destiny story begins with a battle against disbelief. History echoes the same war. Winston Churchill, facing bombs over London, once said, "Fear is a reaction. Courage is a decision." Steve Jobs built Apple after being fired from Apple. Nelson Mandela spent 27 years in prison, enough time for doubt to rot a man's mind. Yet his faith in freedom turned walls into classrooms for purpose. Doubt is a chain, invisible but heavy. It keeps millions trapped in almost. Almost started, almost believed, almost succeeded. But almost is the graveyard of destiny. So how do you break it? Through faith in action. Faith that moves, even trembling. Faith that speaks when words feel empty. Faith that acts when results aren't visible. Faith that chooses truth over evidence. Try this 60-day faith over doubt plan. Days 1 to 15. Identify your biggest doubts. Write them down, shine light on them. Days 16 to 30. Replace each doubt with a faith statement. Speak it morning and night. Days 31 to 45. Take one action every day your doubt says not to take. Days 46 to 60. Journal your victories, even small ones. Doubt dies in the face of evidence. At the end of 60 days, you'll notice your inner dialogue transformed. The voice of doubt will shrink. The voice of faith will rise. You'll move faster, believe stronger, and walk lighter. Now declare this with me, like a spiritual war cry. I'm no longer deceived by doubt. I am led by faith. I refuse hesitation. I walk with conviction. My steps are ordered. My path is clear. My destiny is protected. No whisper of the enemy will stop me again. My faith is my weapon, my truth, my fire. And if this message has struck your soul, don't let it fade. Subscribe to Napoleon Inspires right now. Every day you'll receive principles of strength, faith, and victory. Reminders that silence the whispers, break the illusions, and awaken the fire within. This is not just a channel. It's a sanctuary for believers, a fortress for dreamers, a family of warriors who refuse to bow to doubt. Because the devil's greatest trick dies the moment you see it. And today, you see it clearly. Now rise, speak truth, act boldly, and let your faith make the devil flee.